Hey my friends, today we are talking about the Anytone 878 Plus. I'm going to give you my review, and we have a winner in the 878 giveaway from BridgeCom. I'm going to announce that at the end of the show, so be sure and stick around, this time on K6UDA Radio. So guys, it's been about a month since I started playing around with the Anytone 878 Plus, and it's time to do a review. But before we get going here, I want you to hit the subscribe, the little bell notification next to it, hit the like button, because that really all does help me here on YouTube. And consider checking out my Patreon or the PayPal page and, dropping me $1 or $2. With that, let's get going here. This is the Anytone 878 Plus. It's a dual band DMR analog radio with Bluetooth, APRS, a color screen, and an actual VFO that works. Most of the front panel and side panel buttons are user configurable inside of the software, or for that matter, in the radio itself. Most of these configurations do have a programming from the factory, but you can easily change them. Other side of the radio has a standard Kenwood mic plug that'll fit the BridgeCom external mic, plus others. That jack is also used for programming the radio using your PC. Starting off on the small knob, that is the volume and on-off knob. Now you can't really see the green, but it does light up a nice green, giving you an indication of your volume control. The next one is your channel selector. When you're in either VFO or memory modes, that'll flip the frequency for you. Okay, in the DMR mode, when you want to access a large contact list or a large group of talk groups, you can use the list function there on the main menu and scroll through this enormous list of talk groups that you could go to. That could be DMR Mark, Brandmeister, or whatever you happen to be using. Now this may be nitpicky, but when using a list like this, I would like to be able to hit the select button and then hit the number key corresponding to that talk group and be able to access it. Can't do that here. You have to use the scroll key. Now the radio comes factory programmed for some of these side functions, and the top button on under the PTT is giving me my battery life, and the bottom button is opening up the squelch so you can monitor for weak stations on analog. Now I went ahead and programmed up the blue button at the top to change my channel type. So when I'm in a VFO and I want to enter a frequency, I can pick between a digital or a analog frequency. Works very quick, very, very effective, and you can set that up in the radio itself under the settings menu. Now moving over to a VFO is very, very easy. I could just hit the P2 button. It goes from memory to VFO, and you can just key in the frequency that you want to enter. You use the channel selector to incrementally go through the VFO in the increments that you set up either in the radio or in software. Now moving through zones is really easy on the radio. You use that up and down toggle button, and that'll toggle you through however many zones you've set up in the radio. I have one for local analog repeaters, one for my open spot, one for some other DMR repeaters, and that's about it. Under the menu, you can also look at the zones that you have set up on the radio. Very easy, and it'll give it to you in a list fashion. Like I said before, the menu is pretty extensive, and you could pretty much configure almost everything in the radio right there from the menu. But one thing you need to do is in software, if you want to use APRS, you're going to have to configure that or turn it on in the software. Now, like most other DMR radios, the 878 Plus ships with its own basically proprietary drop-in charger. One thing that the 878 ships with as standard equipment that I have never seen on any other ham radio is this little Bluetooth PTT button. This is a very cool feature if you want to run hands-free. It, you turn the thing on, turn on the Bluetooth on the radio, and yeah, it works very, very easily. And you can see I'm keying the radio with it. So the 878, much like other DMR radios, and not. I haven't tried them all. You guys know that. I have been in the past, let's say, disappointed in the way that the radios have been implemented. They are, after all, these are modeled after, and they are commercial radios. BridgeCom, they sell these as commercial radios, Part 90 radios, to businesses, to public service, to all kinds of other entities. And they do also sell them to hams as ham radios. How does this radio fit in with the ham radio world? The way I measure these things right off the bat is how easy is it to program on the fly? Can I enter in a frequency in a VFO and talk on it? Because after all, when it comes down to emergency communications, and that's really the basis of this whole hobby or the activity of ham radio, is to be able to operate in emergency situations and have interoperability with a whole bunch of other hams. Maybe you've never met them, you've never dealt with them, but now you're thrown into a situation, some kind of a natural disaster or man-caused disaster, and you've got to work with these guys now. Which means that in the normal DMR world, these things are programmed up and they're done. You need a computer with the proper software or radio-specific software to program this, or else it becomes, basically a brick. Anytone has listened to hams like me, like you, all across the world, and they're making pretty good strides toward that end of building us a ham radio that can be used in the commercial world also. And I think this is probably about as good as I have seen towards that end. Now, I am able to program this thing from a VFO on the radio. I can program in a frequency. I could decide whether it's analog or digital and use it just like that. Programming in repeaters, in analog repeaters on this with PL tones, it is possible. It is a convoluted mess still. It is a hot mess, but it is a huge step forward from some of the older DMR radios that I have tried, where it was just like almost impossible to use the keypad to do anything other than flip a channel. My second criteria for these is, how do they sound on analog? Well, what kind of audio reports do I get back from my friends on the local repeaters? And I gotta say, this thing has been top notch. I have gotten back nothing but great audio reports from my friends on analog repeaters. That was a big deal to me because a lot of the DMR radios that I had played with, I would get back these audio reports. Guys would talk to me when I was using them, and they would say, well, you sound like you're talking inside of a bucket or a fishbowl, or you sound very muffled, or you sound good, but your audio level is so far down, it's, you know, like 3 dB down from everybody else on the repeater. Not good, especially when you can't figure out how to boost that audio signal, and it just, you know, it just makes the experience not fun to do. When I could pick up something like a D74 or an FT3 or some other analog radio, even an older analog radio, and just have a good conversation and guys aren't struggling to hear me. Let's talk about the speaker in this thing. This speaker is insane. This is by far the loudest and clearest speaker I have ever heard in a handheld, bar none. In a noisy environment, this thing is a clear winner over every other handheld that I have used to date. I mean, that's it. Like every other DMR radio in the world, this is best served by programming it through a code plug. And if you want to take full advantage of the radio, you're going to want to build a code plug. Here's the difference. Anytone has, they've evolved their software. And what I love about their software is the fact that you can take CSV files, basically Excel spreadsheet files, and you can import different parts of things into your code plug. Now, BridgeCom doesn't make this radio. This radio is made by Anytone. BridgeCom is a reseller. So we have to naturally ask, why do you want to buy it from BridgeCom rather than buying it on Amazon or from some other reseller? This is totally being honest. BridgeCom's customer support on the back end is something that I have never seen from another ham radio company. BridgeCom really wants to see you succeed in the DMR world. They don't want to see guys buy a radio, get about halfway through setting the thing up, get frustrated, and give up and go back to something else or just go back to an analog radio. No, they want to see you get the most out of this radio that you can. And that's why they put out a ton of content. Yes, a lot of it is promotional. They want to sell radios, and I don't blame them. That's their business, is to sell radios. But on that back end, they are pushing out so much content, so much how-to content, little video snippets, articles on how to set up the APRS, articles on how to program in from the front panel, all kinds of stuff. The little things that the manual probably doesn't explain well enough, or that we're just not looking for, but then we start looking for those answers. And BridgeCom really puts that effort forth, and they do a hell of a good job doing that. I talked to Daniel really briefly, and I asked him a few questions about the support side and why they do that.
Yeah, so I'm Daniel Kohanowitz, N0REY. I am, I guess, the sales and marketing manager here at BridgeCom Systems, and I'm in charge of, making sure we have excellent deals for you guys and keep putting out excellent content for you.
I've noticed you guys put out a whole bunch of emails. Is this more of a sales and marketing thing, or is there a real value to the emails that you guys are putting out on a constant basis? Is there real value to the to us, the end user?
Yeah, absolutely. So all the emails we're sending out, guides and tutorials out on a daily basis, and all of these guides and tutorials are actually the ideas are from user submitted questions. So this is like previous customers, other people, users, and their problems that our customer base is having. That we're like, we have these expertise. We can go ahead and just solve this for you, and then just give you guys that real value. And so that way you know how to use DMR better, you know how to operate your radios better. I mean, DMR is a complicated, it's more complicated than standard analog radios, and we understand that. So we want to give you guys that real value so that you guys are just better end users. You can use the technology better and just have more fun and more success.
One more question. So why buy from you guys if I could buy the same radio from Amazon or eBay or some other vendor? Why buy from you as opposed to one of these other vendors?
Yeah, so mainly for the reasons I just stated. If you were to buy a radio from us, you'd actually get like all the entire library of all of the tutorial videos, and we have made these like step by step, like get it out of the box, like watch this video, learn how to set it up, learn how to program it. Like you'll go from like 0 to hero in our step by step guide, and that's only available if you were to buy a radio from us. And not only that, if you were to buy a radio from us, you could call our support line, and you'll talk to an actual amateur radio American technician, as opposed to buying it from some random eBay seller, some random Amazon seller, and you're not going to get a hold of anybody. Nobody's going to support you. They're just going to give you the taillight warranty, and you're going to be out of luck. But if you get it from us, you'll get all of our support videos, our in-person support if you need it. You get access to like our code plug bank. Just download a pre-existing code plug, and you get some amazing deals as well.
So what this really comes down to is, would I buy this? So buying a radio is a super highly subjective thing. It depends upon what you want. And when I try to evaluate a radio, I'm not just evaluating the features of the radio, but what is my intended use. And a big thing for me is that APRS function. I want to be able to, to go up the side of a mountain or be on a Jeep trail or do something and have that communication via APRS. So it still leaves that question. Is this radio right for you and your needs as opposed to me and my needs? I am still going to say I am a fan of the Kenwood, of the Yaesu, and that is the simple fact of the full-featured APRS. If this had full-featured APRS on it, I would make this a daily driver at half the price. Now, considering that it's half the price of the other two, does that sway your decision? It would definitely sway mine on an everyday radio if I didn't really want that APRS function. I don't know. Can't make your decision for you. Don't want to make your decision for you, but I want to give you just enough information that I'm not going to bore you, and enough information that you can make your decision whether this is the right radio for you. So that leaves us with one bit of information, one unanswered question. Who won this radio? Well, BridgeCom contacted me yesterday and let me know who did win the radio, and it is Richard Fox VK2 UAL. VK2 UAL Richard, you just won yourself a Anytone 878 Plus with all the trimmings. Congratulations. I've sent you an email, and you'll get in touch with BridgeCom. They're gonna get you your radio, and I want to thank everybody for playing along with the game. And you know what? When I can find companies that'll work with me and offer you guys a freebie, I will do that anytime. Always want to get you guys a better deal, get you guys a freebie. And I thank you for watching my videos. I thank you for following me. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video everywhere you can. Also, again, hit me up on Patreon, hit me up on PayPal with the tip jar. It does help. And with that, we're off to the next subject. I'm Bob, K6UDA, and I'm out of here. 7-3.